I'm in my office, but this is not an office video because we got something really freaking exciting in the mail yesterday. So we are heading to the garage as I almost die. Tripod's hooked on my light cord. Okay. Walking with a tripod, exceptionally dangerous feeling. Holy. But before I open the garage door, hit that link below, check out Team Activated, because we will show you how to make faster progress for longer, and we will teach you how to be a better coach and a better lifter. So, long story short on this box, Knees Over Toe Guy saw my poverty attempt at creating an adjustable Nordic at strength edge and asked if I wanted to try his Nordic bench out, which is really freaking cool because I credit Nordic curls with saving my deadlift, and I can give Ben a lot of credit for greatly shaping my rehab philosophy. When I was starting down this path, he was the first person I saw talking about how avoiding training an injured body part is the last thing we should be doing. From a pure ease of opening the package perspective, holy shit, this thing has already exceeded my expectations. Because if we want that part to be strong again, just resting and doing fluffy stuff isn't going to do it. We need to be actually training it and finding start points that we can build off of and progress from. From what I can tell so far, like, this thing feels freaking solid. I'm getting very excited. And for my left knee deadlifts, that was something that took a little while for me to figure out. Because for those of you who don't know, I tore my PCL in this sucker when I was 12 years old, never got it fixed, which means that if I were to tug on my tibia, I can get some posterior anterior translation going. And every single time I used to wedge into a conventional deadlift, it felt like my femur was going to slip off the front of my knee. Not very confidence inspiring, and it really didn't help with getting quads into my pull. And I was actually talking to Dawson Wyndham about it 4 or 5 years ago, and he was like, hey, have you tried Nordics? I bet a Nordic would help. And I was like, yeah, I've tried Nordics. It feels like my freaking leg is going to explode. I never want to do one again. To which Dawson responded by basically calling me a giant pansy and telling me that was more reason to figure out a way to do Nordics. And the freaking coolest thing about this, and the thing that I'm most excited about, is you guys know how I'm a fan of blocking range of motion to make the Nordic more scalable, more progressible. Well, this thing, look at this. It was Dawson who introduced me to the idea of blocking the range of motion on a Nordic so I could go down to a box, pause, and then curl myself up from a dead stop. You can scale the angle of the bench to make it easier and easier leverage-wise so that pretty much anyone can do a Nordic with it. And the reason I became such a big fan of blocking the range of motion to ease into a Nordic is I think there's something very special training stimulus-wise, sensation-wise, that happens when we have to generate that contraction out of a dead stop versus having the assistance from a push-up or the resistance of a reverse band pulling us back up. In my end frame, I'm gonna raise the camera up. And this feels so much less daunting than just going to the floor would. And holy shit. This is freaking awesome. Okay, let's drop it down one. Make it a little bit harder. I got a deadlift tonight, so not gonna go too crazy in the garage, but we will put it through its paces in the gym. That feels so good. Okay, I gotta go get Miana because this is freaking sick. Miana, do you want to try it? But the vlog. Well, whatever, the lighting's shitty, they won't see you. Come try. It's basically like an incline bench where you can change the angle to make it either harder or easier. It's actually like really gnarly. This is way, way gnarlier than I was expecting it to be up high. Just like elevating your hands on a push-up, right? Change the levers, makes it less gnarly because the moment arm's shorter. But, right? Isn't that sick?
Yeah. harder than expected.
On to the part of the workout I've been looking forward to all day, because we're gonna do some testing out with the ATG Nordic bench thingy. And I think the plan is to start up high and then gradually go lower until I die. This angle is terrifying already. And what is really gnarly about this thing compared to how I normally run Nordics here is this thing lets me get the full knee extension, whereas the other way, I'm still not locked out. If this goes okay, I'm liking my chances of making it all the way to the bottom. Nervous. But I'm thinking like the difference between 10 degrees to 0 degrees looks pretty severe. I don't know why I'm so nervous. Fuck, that was bad. To be clear, when you do this at home, your reps shouldn't look like that. Okay, so official first impressions. I am really impressed with not only the build, but how it actually feels to use it, because like I'm 260 pounds and the thing does not wiggle or shimmy or shake at all. So actually training on it, freaking stoked, feels phenomenal. Like the ability to ease in, start super high up, start easy, start reasonable, still get full range of motion at the knee, and then make it disgustingly hard and eventually like progress to adding weight. Like, yeah, I am happy that I now have one of these. And the one thing I was a little bit worried about, knowing like the local Calgary strength brands and where their manufacturing's done, is that little guy in the box. But I don't think that matters in the context of this thing, because the point of it isn't to be the swankiest piece of equipment ever. The point of it is to be accessible, both from the pricing side and the ability to adjust it so anyone can get started.
And really, all there is to say is I am thoroughly impressed with everything that this Nordic bench is.
So knees over toe guy, thank you so much for shaping my rehab philosophy and making this guy so accessible. Let's close her out with some cinematic slow-mo.